My Amp Unit, welcome to the 39th ever BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified podcast. Hopefully you guys are kicking this weekend's ass, and that continues on. A lot of good discussional topics to go over in this week's podcast. A lot of newsworthy shit already taking place. We're going to be discussing, within the next hour, RVD, Rob Van Dam, in his unleashing on AEW. We're going to be talking about WWE superstars coming out and voicing their frustrations towards Vince McMahon and the WWE as a whole for what just transpired in Saudi Arabia, being stuck down there in the post that WWE had sent out for the media and for the public, and how WWE superstars caught wind of that, and they are not happy. And they've already taken to social media, and they're pretty pissed off. We're going to go over exactly what they said, who it's directed toward, and what this means going forward. But WWE superstars, once again, are pissed off at Vince McMahon and that company. We'll be talking about that as well in just a few minutes. I want to kick off this podcast with Seth friggin' Rollins. This is a guy who has had a very rough year, to say the least, right? Most through nobody else's fault but his own. But also you can blame his booking. As far as on screen, his booking has been abysmal, to say the least. He went into a big WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar that not everybody was on board with. 50% of the fan base did not want to see a rematch with Brock and Seth. But that's what we got. Then you go into a multi-month feud with Baron Corbin? And then we all know what happened at Hell in a Cell in that debacle. So this whole year for Seth Rollins on screen, in that ring, feud-wise, storyline-wise, has been abysmal. But then you look at what he has done on social media, and he has not helped himself at all. The whole thing with Will Ospreay, when Ospreay was just trying to have some fun with him, and Seth Rollins kind of came across as a douche during that. And then Seth Rollins turns on his own locker room. All the people in that locker room, the wrestlers that were frustrated about their positioning and Vince not giving them a real chance, Seth Rollins took a shit on him. And he said, it's nobody's fault but your own, and you shouldn't be complaining. And he worked his ass to get where he is on the company. But it didn't take a rocket scientist to realize that everybody worked their ass to get where they are. You got very fortunate that he gave you a chance and strapped a rocket on you. There was a lot of people he didn't give that chance to. Luke Harper had a real fucking chance. He never even got the shot. When I say he got a real chance, he had a chance to be somebody, but Vince never gave him a real opportunity. Rusev Day was huge, and the only thing Vince McMahon did during Rusev Day was bring him back 10 steps. Make sure he was in obscurity when he was at his hottest. Zack Ryder had a chance a few years ago to be actually something. And then lightning in a bottle actually struck twice. Because then when Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental Championship, that was another chance that he had to be somebody. And Vince McMahon made sure that he ruined that instantly. I believe he lost that title like 24 hours later. I can go on with talent that we look at as jobbers today, but they actually had a chance. If Vince gave them a chance. That makes sense. Seth Rollins didn't think so. Doesn't think so. Seth Rollins thinks you're not where you want to be in the company because it's all on you. You don't work hard enough. You're not good enough. You're not doing the right things. Sasha Banks walked away from the company because it's her fault. Neville had to walk away from the company because it's Pac's fault. That's Neville, for those of you that don't watch AEW. Neville is Pac now. Luke Harper walked away. It's his fault. Rusev walked away because it was his fault. No. Maybe they were so fucking pissed because they know they're doing all the right things, but the old man in there in Stamford, Connecticut, who's writing all the bullshit down, writing the checks, he doesn't think so. He thinks they're nothing more than mid-card talent at best. So anyway, my point is he didn't help himself on social media when he was taking a shit on his own locker room. And then he turned on the fans and said that we shouldn't be complaining. They're busting their ass for our entertainment, so no matter what's being produced, we should like it. And if we don't like it, we should at the very least never complain about it. He did not help his cause. But now there's a new thing that he said, right? This was several days ago. This has already been well documented by everybody who covers pro wrestling underneath the sun, but one man, and that's the most important man, the Amplified Man. I haven't talked about it yet. And there's a reason, because I want to ask you guys a question. See, Seth Rollins called fans fickle in one of his latest interviews. I believe this was with Corey Graves on his new podcast, because if you're not aware of it, guys, WWE has their wrestlers and their whole organization is now doing a podcast kind of channel. Because they don't want you listening to people like B motherfucking C Amplified. They want you to stay in their WWE bubble so they can feed you all the bullshit. And once in a while, they'll get a little edgy. They'll get a little controversial. They'll talk about maybe even AEW once in a while. They'll have people call fans fickle, right? They'll get people buzzing. But trust me, it's still in the WWE bubble. So they want to keep you there. Whatever. You guys are too smart for that. I know you'll be watching motherfuckers like the Amplified Man way more than the cookie cutter bullshit they'll be producing. But anyway, I digress. Because mission accomplished if they wanted the Amplified Man talking about this, because everybody underneath the sun is talking about it without my input. But my input is really going to be half and half with your input. I ask you guys the question, is he wrong? Are fans not fickle? Just asking. What did Seth actually say? Let me just say his quote. This is what Seth Rollins said last week with Corey Graves in that interview. And I quote from Rollins. They, meaning the fans, they're the same people that are panning Hell in a Cell and talking about how Seth Rollins is not cool. They're the same people that were clamoring for me to be the guy to face Brock Lesnar going into WrestleMania. I don't remember clamoring to see Rollins versus Brock at WrestleMania, but okay, Seth. So I don't know what changed, except for I became the person they wanted me to be, and then they hated me for it. It's a very fickle audience. It is what it is. He then said, look, in recent memory, Roman Reigns had to deal with the same shit. He didn't say shit, but crap. I'll put the extreme words in there for you, Rollins. He said, look, in recent memory, Roman Reigns had to deal with the same shit. John Cena had to deal with the same crap. It's not anything new. I won't be the last. Just wait until the next flavor of ice cream gets boring to that audience. They're going to do the same thing to them, so it is what it is. My question to you guys is, and I know Rollins isn't cool, and the cool thing to do is hate on Rollins, and I've made 3 or 4 videos myself absolutely going hard in on the guy because he's talked nothing but shit about his own locker room, about fans. So yeah, I went hard on that shit because I felt passionately that he was fucking not only his own career up, but he's starting to talk too much shit about his peers and us fans. And yeah, I wasn't going to have it anymore. Just like he wanted to step up like a locker room leader, I was going to step up for the community. So yeah, I've had my run-ins with Rollins video-wise in expressing my feelings, but on this one, I ask you guys, is he wrong? Fans are absolutely fickle. They just are. I can give you a laundry list, a million different scenarios where fans are absolutely fickle, but I look no more sooner than just Thursday afternoon / evening. We can go right to there just a few days ago. That's how soon I have to, or how early I have to look back on. Just a couple of days ago, when a guy named Mansoor, right, only the second time the world has seen him, and it's only because he's in Saudi Arabia both times. And you probably won't see him again until maybe they're back in Saudi Arabia. Or maybe now they'll give him some TV time. But my point is, after that only second appearance to the world, Everybody is now clamoring that Mansoor is the next superstar. He should be in main event. These are real quotes that I saw online. People are asking and wondering, befuddled on why he's not on TV and in main events right now. There are people saying he should have championships in WWE right now. What about Cedric Alexander? Wasn't everybody saying shit about, what about Ricochet? What about Ali? What about Buddy Murphy? I can go on and on. Tony Nese. I can go on and on with superstars that fans were full throttle behind for just a couple of months, and then once Vince McMahon ruffled up their booking, they kind of quit on them. Oh, Vince fucked them up. I'm on to the next. Ricochet. Oh, Vince fucked him up, or he's boring now. I'm moving on to Ali. Oh, Ali, his momentum is staggered. I'm moving on to Buddy Murphy. He's a champ. Oh, Buddy Murphy his thing with Roman's done, and he's boring now. Now we're on the Mansoor. What are you going to give me? BC, all of them should be somebody right now in the company, and all of them should have championships or full throttle storylines. You can't give storylines to every 205-pounder in the world, guys. That's not captivating anybody. Yes, they put on damn good wrestling matches, and a few of them can be legit superstars. If you're lucky enough to be in the Daniel Bryan or AJ Styles category. But not everybody. Who is it? Who do you want them to push? Now we're on to Mansoor. Mansoor, no offense to the guy, of course he's a good wrestler, but he's just another version of Ali. There's a million good wrestlers in this world. Why isn't Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer a champion right now in WWE? Why isn't Fuckwad Fred or Peacock Paulie in main event storylines in WWE right now? Why is my local pizza delivery guy Luigi Lugnuts? Or how about Benny Ballsack Bandito? Why are they not even signed to WWE? They're great wrestlers! Every time we see somebody new that can wrestle good on TV, they should be champions. They should be in the main events. That's the next big flavor of the month. Rollins is right, bro. That's fickle as fuck. But I'll go a step further and give you a bigger scenario that just happened on Thursday. Bray Wyatt, we all agree Bray Wyatt has been screwed since he's gotten to WWE, away from the Husky Harris shit. But with the Bray Wyatt, the origins of that character, the woodsy, mysterious Wyatt family character, before this whole theme, we all agree he got fucked over. He was one of the best on the mic still to this fucking day. He was in awesome storylines, but when it came to the pay-per-views, he was consistently losing until we didn't believe in him anymore. But those that were fans, we stuck behind him because we knew what he actually deserved. In a world where we say everyone deserves it after they win a championship, very few actually do. Bray Wyatt is that guy. So he comes back as the Fiend character. There was a major hiccup, a travesty of epic proportions with what happened at Hell in a Cell. Does that mean we just give up on Bray? Because Vince McMahon's being an idiot? No, you stick behind him. And when Vince McMahon realized he fucked up, he had enough people in his ear at Crown Jewel, he finally was forced to do the right thing and put the strap on Bray. And what did you see on social media from a lot of fucking numbnuts and dipshits? Bray Wyatt's time is past. These are things that I legit read from multiple people. His time is past. He's boring. The character's boring. It's stale. It's old. It's ruined. Because of what happened at Hell in a Cell, it's too late. Bray is buried. That's right, Bray's buried after winning I didn't know you could win a championship but be buried. Okay. He just came back in 3 months, he's fucking buried after winning a championship. The things that I read, the things that I heard befuddled me, but they shouldn't have shocked me because that's the wrestling community. Fickle! Going into Hell in a Cell, Bray. 3 weeks and a half later, it's done. Hell in a Cell, they're crying like little fucking babies. Hell in a Cell ruined it for for me, and it's ruined it for Bray. It's over. No, it's not over. He's a champion, and I'm 110% behind him because I'm not fickle. I don't look at Vince McMahon and his bullshit booking, whether consciously or subconsciously ruining a character. I don't let it actually do such. I stick full throttle behind an individual. Did it with Daniel Bryan, and he went to the fucking mountaintop. I did it with Naomi, she went to the mountaintop. Did it with Sasha Banks, and I'm still longing for that day. And I'll do it for Bray Wyatt. And I've done it for Bray Wyatt. And I sit here, and that's why I have so much pride in what I do and my morals. Because I sit in front of you today, making this video, one of the only ones that I know of in this community that have stood behind Bray Wyatt fully. And I'm not going to let Vince McMahon ruin it. Or say that one event that Vince McMahon, they made another wrong decision that ruined Bray Wyatt. Or that he's stale. Or it's over. Or his momentum is gone. These are things that I read online. And I sat there and thought, are they really that stupid? Or are they just fickle? Or is it a combination of both? How fast people can move on. Just a couple of months ago, we're talking about Bray being the hottest thing in pro wrestling. And 2 months later, with a world championship on his shoulder, we're saying it's over. They ruined it. Hell in a Cell. Please, I bashed Hell in a Cell. To this day, I say it's one of, and it maybe will go down, as the worst outcome in that type of a match ever. I don't even ever want to see a Hell in a Cell match again because I'll never believe in it again. But you can't blame Bray for that. After Bray won that championship, we all collectively should have gotten behind Bray and told the old man that that's what should have been done. By you bouncing out of Bray Wyatt now and casting away from him, casting him aside, now you're telling Vince and Seth that they're exactly right. You're just fickle. What he just said, his last comment, just wait until the next flavor of ice cream gets boring to that audience. They're going to do the same thing, so it is what it is. His words rang so fucking true. This interview was done before Saudi Arabia, Bray got the championship, and people are already jumping ship. They didn't get their way at Hell in a Cell, so they're done with it all. I didn't get my way at Hell in a Cell either. It doesn't mean I acted like a 7-year-old toddler. We have to get behind people and make sure that they achieve what they should be. Make sure that the old man doesn't have an easy way out. What those fickle fans, if you are one of them, you better change your fucking dome piece quickly. Those fans that are talking all this shit about Bray's momentum or he's fucking done and it should have been a month ago and all that, now it's over, it can never be fucking resurrected. Those are the people that give Vince McMahon an easy way out. It's an easy out for Vincent Kennedy because they're gonna do it to everybody anyway. I might as well put my people up there. But if we show him at every show, or vocal as fuck, that these are the characters we want to see. These are the sumbitches that should be achieving what they deserve. Then, and only then, will we have a right to be pissed. If you guys are going to get pissed and be fickle and jump to the next every single week or month, then you don't have a leg to stand on. You should not have any type of voice in the community. Your little fucking social media privileges revoked. If that's the case. Because you're fickle as fuck, and I fully agree with Seth. As hard as I've been on this dude all year, that is something I do agree with him on. They are fickle as fuck. Now, I'm not giving Seth a free pass here. He has done nothing to help his cause this year. The fact that fans turned on Seth is not just bad booking. It's because Seth was acting like a fucking douche on his social media. That'll get people, I don't know, not liking you. So as much as I'm giving Seth some praise here on what he said, I'm also not giving him any credit. So it's kind of funny who's actually saying this. Because it's Rollins. But it's true. Fans are so fucking fickle. And it's outrageous to me. I expected the community to just be so up in arms behind Bray finally getting what he deserved. And it was such a big moment for the community. Not just his peers in the locker room, which were ecstatic for him, but for us, the fans. And to see so many fans crying like little bitches. No, too late. Hell in a Cell's over. The momentum's done. This Bray character just doesn't do it for me anymore. These were things I was reading, and I'm like, what? What? He just came back a couple months ago. It's not doing it for you anymore? His momentum's done after winning a strap? Because for one night, Vince booked him very, very ultimately poorly? Yes, I agree. That was a hit. We don't give up on the dude. And if your feelings for Bray really did switch within the last 3.5 weeks, that's what being fickle is. That's exactly what being fickle is. If Stone Cold hit 3 or 4 months of bad booking during his heyday, man, and we all just jumped ship, I don't even want to think about where WWE would fucking have rolled to. Hulk Hogan back in the 80s hit a fucking rock for 3 or 4 months in his heyday. And we all just turned on him. I don't even know where the company would have... I mean, how people switch to new superstars these days is just... It's scary, man. And it's not cool. And I know we live in that type of world now. A lot of the younger people especially, it's all just... Their heads are... If they're not so far up their own asses, they're in their phones, they're playing video games, they're on fucking online 24/7. So when they watch their WWE, they want that fucking custom in, custom out. Instant gratification. In, out, let's go. Let's get this going. I got things to do, as in play video games and take fucking selfies. Nobody lets things breathe anymore. I was pissed at Hell in a Cell, there's no question. I am today, and I'll be next year, and I'll forever be pissed at that type of outcome, and that people gathered around the boardroom meeting and thought that was okay. I'll forever be pissed about that. And Bray Wyatt, how much say did he have? Did he step up? Who's to say he didn't 3 or 4 times and get shut down? We don't know. But what I do know is they rectified it at the next big event. Oh, it shouldn't have been at Saudi Arabia. It shouldn't have been here. It shouldn't have been... Everybody wants to play Monday morning quarterback. I'm talking people that are not even reviewers, just fans. Fans are trying to book the company for the next year. Immediately after Bray won that championship, I was getting comments like, BC, this is stupid. Now there's 2 champions on one brand. How are they going to do this? Relax. It's not your problem. I'm a reviewer. It's my job to come in front of you and review all this shit. It's not even my job to book it. You couldn't even be happy for Bray for 10 minutes without fucking being up in arms, pissed off. It's too late. It shouldn't have been in Saudi Arabia. His character's ruined now. He's buried, you know. What are they gonna do with 2 champions on one brand? Relax. Shut the fuck up. It's Bray Wyatt here. Roman Reigns or Charlotte Flair didn't just win their 100th championship or not in their fucking 400th main event. It's Bray! And he finally won a big match. Fickle is being generous by Rollins. I ask you, bro! I ask you, bro! Is he not wrong? Is he fucking wrong? Is he not fucking right? Is he wrong? Fans, you're gonna tell me you're not fickle? No, BC, we just don't accept bullshit. What the fuck you talking about? Where you at, bro? I'm the one who doesn't accept bullshit. That's why I gained a fucking channel with thousands of people that view it. Because I don't bullshit. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. As much as I'll tear motherfuckers down in that company or in this industry for acting a fool, I will absolutely bring them up and build them up when I know they're right. And I will stand up when I know something should be stood up for. This company is in a sad state with the audience that it has today. On to the next every fucking month. The new flavor of the month, as Hulk Hogan always called it. Mansoor. Everybody talking about Mansoor is going to be a champion within the next year. Of what title? I don't want to see Mansoor with any title this year. I got a list of 40 dudes on that roster now that should be holding all the titles. Not all at once, separate titles. But 40 names, top of my head. Mansoor's not one of them. He's such a good wrestler, BC. Yeah, there's a million good wrestlers in the world. Just because they're not on TV doesn't mean they're not great wrestlers. It just means you don't know about them. Fickle is an understatement. Bray Wyatt's ruined. That's what he is. His momentum's gone. That's right, that's what it is. In 2.5 months, he's now Universal Champion, but he's dead in the water. This guy's done. No, is he done, or are Fickle fans stupid as fuck? I'm gonna pick Fickle fans are stupid as fuck for 900, Alex. Thank God. Thank God the AMP unit is the smartest wrestling audience in this community. Thank God that when I preach this stuff, it is not directed at the majority of my audience. It's literally talking about the community that is out there. Because my AMP unit, thank goodness, we are in the same realm when it comes to people like Bray. And when something's wrong, we call it out. And when something's right, we build that shit up because we need people in that company to know when they do things right and when they do things like shit. Vince McMahon admitted he was fucking wrong. People still are crying. It's too late. They don't want to believe that Vince finally said I was wrong. They don't want to believe that, so they're holding on to that fucking anger and hostility. It's pro wrestling, bro. Bray got the title in the end. Now we book forward, right? We look forward. What happens now is every fucking show, as I always do on this channel, I will critique it right down the middle. And if Vince McMahon falls back into the ways that he's accustomed to, and we're accustomed to him being, if he falls back in that bad booking ways with Bray, you're gonna hear about it. And when Bray's being booked like a beast, you're gonna hear about it. But what happened in Saudi Arabia is Bray had an ultimate moment in his career. Be happy for a dude that actually deserves it. Instead, I saw a bunch of crying bitches. And I hate bitches. Let's move on. WWE personnel, they're not happy at all when that company being stuck in Saudi Arabia. Literally, I kid you not. WWE put out this statement, and it's just amazing that they didn't understand like what their words were, like how they were going to be perceived by those within their company talent-wise. This is literally what WWE said on their social media, guys. I can just get it. This is a quote. This is their statement over the whole Saudi Arabia incident. WWE says, more than 175 superstars, production crew, and employees boarded a 747 charter flight back to the United States on Thursday. After the door closed due to several aircraft problems, including mechanical issues, all passengers sat on the tarmac for more than 6 hours. With SmackDown emanating live from Buffalo, New York, several superstars felt so strongly that they arranged for their own separate charter in order to make it back to the US for the show. Due to unforeseen issues, that charter did not land until after the live broadcast on Fox. The remainder of WWE superstars, staff, and crew departed on a charter set to depart Saudi Arabia on Friday. End quote. I'm going to read the part that really pissed off WWE superstars again. They said, with SmackDown emanating live from Buffalo, New York, several superstars felt so strongly that they arranged their own separate charter in order to make it back to the US for the show. Due to unforeseen issues, that charter did not land until after the live broadcast on Fox. We've come to find out that what they meant by that was there was a separate charter of about 20 superstars that were chosen. Those were the top stars. We heard Lesnar had his own jet that him, Paul Heyman, and Hulk Hogan took. We heard Vince McMahon also had his own jet. We don't know if those 20 superstars just kind of split Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar's jet, or if there was a totally separate jet for the 20 superstars. But there was the top 20, they're calling it, that were able to get out of Saudi Arabia that night. But the way WWE made it sound, because WWE picked those 20, right? Those are the ones they wanted for that show. But the way that they said it was several superstars felt so strongly about making the show. And then they said later, the rest of the superstars will be departing later Friday. So they made it sound like the ones that were not chosen didn't want to be at the show. Like they're lazy. Just collecting paychecks whenever Vince signs it. That pissed a lot of people off. On social media, Curtis Axel wrote, this is how we're on Twitter, not the top 20 hashtag, middle finger emoji. I'm number one at home. We don't leave each other behind at WWE. He literally added WWE his employer. I shouldn't say employer, his contractor, right? They're not employees, so he can say that. I'm all for people speaking up in these situations. Curtis Axel said, I'm number one at home. Basically, forget your top 20. And he said, we don't leave each other behind. And he added WWE. That was huge by Curtis Axel. I'm proud of him. Luke Harper over on Instagram. Luke Harper put, Larry, I'm home. I guess I didn't want it enough to pay for my own charter. But I'm home now. Hashtag not top 20. So in other words, they didn't choose me. It's like a fucking, you're in gym class and you're the fat kid chosen last. You know, and how that makes him fucking feel. Luke Harper's like, whatever, I'm home now. Tyson Kidd put over on his Twitter, next time we'll pool our money together instead of being lazy. Because again, that's what that statement from WWE made them sound like. So Tyson Kidd is basically saying, yeah, we're lazy. Next time we'll just put our money together. Eric Young put over on his Twitter, I'll pitch in, guys, myself, and take it upon myself to be better. What a world. What a fucking universe, he put. Universe, WWE universe. Scott Dawson just put hashtag poor. Like, yep, we're too poor to do such. AEW World Champion Chris Jericho actually had to have some fun with this. Jericho put, shame on you lazy embarrassments to the company. Glad everybody made it home safely. Carl Anderson put, hoping for a new leader to step up. Looking to see who the leader will be this Monday. Locker room leader. So, Carl Anderson saying, hey, with Seth Rollins being one of the top 20 and all this shit coming down on Rollins and him turning his back on us, well, now look at you. Now you no longer have a championship. Now the fans have fucking turned on you. Are you the locker room leader? Are you really speaking for us, or are you just speaking for your top 20? Carl Anderson is saying, we want to see who the new locker room leader is come Monday. Because it looks like the boys had their own discussions on that plane, or in their hotel, or if they were in Saudi Arabia. They were pissed, and they were fuming with one another, and they said, he is not our locker room leader. It looks like Carl Anderson and the boys had a little discussion, and it looks like Monday, things are going to change in that locker room. That's what I get from Carl Anderson. The exact quote from Anderson is this: looking forward to seeing who the locker room leader is on Monday. Popcorn and heart emojis. That's what it's telling me. Shit's about to go down, and there's about to be a locker room shift, whether Vince and the boys wanted it or not. You knew this was coming. You know, when you go over to Saudi Arabia, it's all about the money for Vince, obviously. So, you know, you get the show done, and then everybody who's important gets on a jet and flies the fuck out. And if you're just one of the peasants, you sit behind and you wait for the commuter plane. Well, they were just commuter peasants at that point. Little peons. And they weren't happy about it, and I wouldn't be either. You know, if you're away from your family that far away, and you know how long of a flight you have back. Not just to go home, you have to go to another show, and then hopefully you'll be home later that weekend. And then to be told, oh, by the way, you're going to be stuck here for another night. Hopefully we'll get you back Friday night. But we're going to take our most important people. They're going to go home to their families. Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed. How about Rob Van Dam? This is kind of funny, unless you're like obsessed with AEW already, then maybe you don't think it's funny. But Rob Van Dam, who's playing a heel character right now in Impact Wrestling, he kind of went to social media and he slammed AEW over and over. Listen to what he said about AEW. Now, some people are saying, oh, but he's just in character. He's playing a heel. To a small degree, yes. But if you listen to what he's saying, I don't think there's any doubt or lie in what he's saying. I think these are his true sentiments. And you can hide behind a heel character these days and saying you're just playing a heel. He hasn't done that, by the way. Not once has he said he's just playing a heel character. But Jericho's good at that as well. Jericho can play a character really good on social media, but behind what Jericho is saying is actual truth. You see that with a lot of superstars that are in character on social media. They kind of hide behind the character, but you know it's their truth. That's how they feel. Listen to what Rob Van Dam said about AEW. Now, he was making comments. At this point, the comments I'm about to read to you guys, at this point, he was already engaging with AEW fans. So Rob Van Dam responded to one fan saying, people who think their opinions are facts are really ignorant. According to my values, which are the only ones that matter to me, Impact is way better than whatever else you're marking out on. Most of those all petite cuts don't even look like professional wrestlers. So he's calling all elite all petite. I'm sorry. You gotta laugh at that. Come on, that's funny, man. Then he says, truthfully, I was a small 235-pound wrestler because the average guys were closer to 300 pounds. And I was the only one creating and doing RVD moves. Now the average wrestler is 190 pounds and they all do my shit. Elite equals petite. So he doubled down on that. Then he responded to another fan saying, duh, I like my business deal. How many years did I spend in other groups that you smarks believe have better conditions? Just because you are aroused at their product, leaving would be a downgrade. So he called AEW a downgrade from Impact, where he's employed right now, or at least for his situation. He went on and on too. There's a lot more. We can go on another 10 minutes on him just sparring with fans, but how do you guys feel about this elite equals petite in all, what's he calling it, petite wrestling? I'm sorry, I have to laugh at that. That's pretty, I never thought of the petite replacing. Listen, it's a slam because Rob Van Dam is a respected guy in the wrestling industry by most his peers, and I know most fans. Or at least he was until this came out. Probably not anymore. But I'm sure he really irritated a lot of AEW faithful. He's right, though. I mean, you don't want to use the word petite. That's kind of degrading. But they're smaller. That's a roster of small dudes. When you look at a Cassidy, that's Orange. When you look at a Janela, that's Joey. When you look at a Guevara, that's Sammy. You look at all these guys and you're thinking, you know, they're supposed to, you know, the Boy of Jungle. All of these guys are supposed to be the future, and I hope they are. I hope nothing but the best. Most of the ones I just named, for the most part, entertaining. I don't know about Pockets McGee over there. People are up in arms loving Orange Cassidy. I've yet to see what is supposed to captivate me. While everybody is marking out about a Cassidy that's orange, I'm over here going, what's the routine? What's the shtick that is getting everybody out of their seats? And as RVD puts it, getting aroused. The fact that he does moves with his hands in his pockets? Is it the fact that that the referee puts sunglasses? I'm yet to see it. And people shit on WWE and the 24/7 title and all the comedy that they do. That shit's no better. He's like kicking people's shins. He's not taking shit seriously, but we only can shit on WWE. Okay, now I understand. So I don't get that shit, but I do see immense talent in guys like the Jungle Boy and guys like Darby Allin and guys of that nature. I just question, can a roster full of these dudes captivate people beyond diehards? Many AEW faithful will tell you, no, and that's what this is about. It's just for us, finally, we the diehards. That's cool, but you're gonna basically just position yourself like ROH was positioned. You're not going to excel. You're not going to put yourself in a position to get any further. Because without attracting casuals or people who don't necessarily watch and they're flicking through, you're not going to have people on your screen that are captivating them. I'm not saying they have to be 350 pounds, 6'7", by the way. But there is a lot of people in AEW's roster and on that roster right now that 5 weeks into this TV deal, I'm still not captivated by. I hope nothing but the best. They're pretty damn good at what they do. But can they hold storylines for 3 or 4 months? Can their bodies hold up for 4 or 5 more years? Can they captivate us for 7 weeks? These are questions that I have that remain to be answered. And he's coming out and saying, listen, they have a locker room full of these little guys that are all doing my shit now. That's fine. But back when I did it, I was the fucking smallest dude at 235. And that's why he's calling that all petite wrestling. And elite equals petite. All petite wrestling. I have to keep saying it's pretty funny, man. I like AEW. You guys know that, man. I give AEW a fair shake every week. And every time I tune into AEW, I always tell you guys how it is an atmosphere in that crowd of just fun. And you honestly believe that anything can happen because they're so new that they'll take risks. Now, this past week, I didn't feel they took a lot of risks at all. I feel they kind of backpedaled a little bit. It's okay to like regroup once in a while, but it's not good to just stay stagnant or backpedal. I feel they definitely stayed stagnant. I wanted to see a lot more. This is just their 5th week on television and they didn't really pull anything. So that was a shame to see, but I expect them to really pick it up into high gear and full throttle next Wednesday. But I'm always giving them the benefit of the doubt. I always tell you guys how fun the atmosphere is. I always tell you guys how much I'm enjoying the action. I still am waiting to see more stories develop, but that's the same problem with WWE, NXT, any company right now. Stories are the real thing that's missing. Impact Wrestling would be the only organization right now that I can think of that is actually putting together some damn good stories. But AEW has to pick up in that department too. I think now that we're going into week 6, I think they're realizing, fuck, like this is a marathon. And you know, how much longer can we just go out there and put wrestlers in there for wrestling matches? At some point, we have to start doing stories and such. So, I don't know. I'm going in a whole different tantrum. I know the original story is RVD going full throttle in on AEW. Again, I don't think this is just him being in heel character. These are his true sentiments. There's no question about that. This is how he feels. Otherwise, he wouldn't have spent 2 fucking days on social media sparring with fans and getting that direct. That's how you know these are how he feels, these statements, because he gets very detailed. He starts talking about his experience and how it is now, and he starts talking about how it would be a downgrade personally for him. And he says, just because you guys are aroused at the company doesn't mean I am. So, it's cool to see wrestlers have their own mind. At a time where AEW is the cool thing supposedly right now, and everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and trying to play nice with Cody to get a job, RVD's like, fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, all these dudes are 190 pounds. What am I going to be begging to get into? So it's good to see that. What do you guys feel? Are you team RVD or are you like, fuck RVD? Fuck that, man. AEW's better than petite wrestling, bitch. It's in the eye of the beholder, That's why I love, this is going to sound egotistical, but I love being me, especially when it comes to pro wrestling, because I've always stayed neutral. I never was a WWE fanboy or an AEW fanboy or an NXT fanboy, Impact or TNA, ROH. I love ROH, but I never became a fanboy of it. I always called it down the middle because I always want to give it the attention that it deserves. And I feel that if you're a fanboy of a company, right, and you always know when somebody just likes a company so much that it takes a lot for you to call off more negatives on it. You can just tell, I never want to be that person. I always want to be the one that when you smash a BC Amplified video and you press play on that son of a bitch and I come across your screen, you are going to get the ultimate truth and the ultimate detailed analysis of any superstar, subject, show, or entity. And I pride myself on that. I really do. And that's why I look at every organization and I always wish nothing but the best for them leading into a show. And I hope it's a great show. And then when the red light goes on and it's time for yours truly to start filming, we rock out. What was good is good. What was bad. And let's talk about all that's in between. So I guess to end this, that's my advice for you guys. Like, if you can, I know some of you most of you just love an organization much more than the other, but try to look at it from a direct, right down the middle viewpoint and standpoint, and you'll be much better off. If you're going to socialize on social media with other wrestling fans, you'll be much smarter, or at least you'll sound much smarter if you look at it right down the middle. If you're just loving one company much more than the other, then anything you say, whether on social media or on comment boards or just with your buddy at a bar room or wherever, at school, anything you say is not going to have any validity toward it. It's just going to be your opinion. Opinions are fine, but when you're in a debate or a real heavy-hitting discussion, you want to bring facts. Facts will always make you sound smarter. Because facts make you smart. Need a coffee. That's the podcast, guys. I hope you enjoy it. I know we at least went over for around 45 minutes-ish. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a long fucking week in the pro wrestling world with Crown Jewel, and everybody's schedules were kind of flip-flopped and all over the place. We put the SmackDown review up real late yesterday, so for those of you that didn't catch it, the final 20 seconds of this video, it'll be in one of these corners. Just press that box. That'll take you to the SmackDown review that I put up. It was probably the most positive review that I've given all year. Check it out. And of course, I'll be with you guys next weekend for the 40th anniversary, 40th podcast of the BC's Amplified production. And of course, Tuesday, look forward to Monday Night Raw's review and reaction. That'll kick off a whole week's worth of videos. The Amplified, man. Like I'm going to do, I hope all of you do. We're going to get that coffee. We're going to whip the rest of this weekend's ass. Amplified style. Yow! Iwawi. Check your leader.